Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of the sensational ArtaCast. It was a bit of a break due to multiple things. First of all, LD was on vacation, and I, as you see, maybe moved to Japan because my wife got a job there, and we moved there for 1 year, just for 1 year. So if you ask again, I don't know. I got so many questions, and I always think I told it multiple times in the ArtaCast that I'm moving to Japan, and everyone who's asking me, you don't watch the ArtaCast. I'm very disappointed in you. No, that's why I also like. I hope you forgive me that it's not the best camera right now. I'm actually recording right now with my notebook, the webcam from my notebook. I will get a new webcam, but I think you will not. You don't watch the podcast because of my beautiful face. You watch it because of my great insights about the game. No, yeah, that's why I actually the last 2 weeks I played probably the least amount of Lorcana than ever, maybe. Because yeah, it was so much to do here. I was so busy with the move and everything. Now it's all sorted. Now we actually got internet yesterday. So I'm back on testing a bit. I tested since yesterday. Yeah, I caught up a bit, but I think I need to test more to get more valuable insights. But that's why maybe you lead us today a bit more, LD. How's your Locana week been going, or a week or weeks we can say going? How do you feel about the metagame? What are you excited about some decks, or do you feel it's weird? Or tell me your story, your Locana story.
Yeah, that's a big question,
Hmm.
but very good one. Yeah, so I was on vacation. I missed a week of testing, and now I'm back in the loop, and I've played a lot this week. So I've got a pretty good handle on how things feel. I think it's very weird, I guess. I'm trying sort of before we do some planning on what's going into the episode. I was trying to think like, how do I actually feel? I can't work out how I feel at all. I think what's happening is I'm learning a lot about myself
Hmm.
as a
That's good.
player and what my expectations are,
Hmm.
because I'm not having a massive amount of fun right now, but then it's really hard to point to why when you look at this format versus some past formats. It's not as bad as like the set 7 format was, for example, where you could only play red, blue, or blue steel. Um, because there are like at least 4 decks that you realistically can play and do very well with. So I think for me, it's like I have this really lofty expectation of a deck of a format having like at least 3 tier 1 decks and then at least 3 tier 1.5 decks that are secretly better than some of the tier 1 decks. There's so many layers to it. And, it's not just that there has to be like diversity, but there has to be like decks that I can find that will undermine the best decks. And that's the missing piece for me at the moment, is that where I'm really struggling is that I don't like I never play the best deck in the format unless the best deck in the format was ever like accidentally green purple in the in the in the in the last couple of years. I'm always looking for like what is the if I have a strong understanding of the metagame and what's good, what is the next step you can take to try and get around some of these strategies, exploit some of their weaknesses, and that's where I'm stuck right now. Is I've tried lots and lots of different things, and nothing is really consistently upsetting this. Well, we'll call it a trifecta where you've got Blurple, Purple Steel, Amber Steel, by far and away the sort of highest performing decks. Closely behind you have blue green as well. I'm not really finding much to kind of upset and throw that off. I've played a good amount of all of them except Blurple. I find it deathly boring. It's just so linear. I mean, the fun for people, it's the same as any of these like blue decks of the past that were really high performing. People find their fun and find their skill expression in the mirror. That's not really where I excel. I try to win through deck building. I try to win through noticing weaknesses in strategies and subverting them with other things that people aren't expecting. Like That's that's something I don't play into. When there's like a clear best deck, I don't play it, and I don't tolerate the mirrors because it's just not where I shine. That's sort of the long and short of it. I've played a ton of different things to mixed success. I've played Chromicon decks. I've played aggro decks. I've played different blue decks. I've played some songs decks. I've tried it all, but this sort of established trifecta of Blurple, Amber Steel, Purple Steel looks pretty set in stone. I'd be shocked if like I could see blue green stepping up to be in the same sort of realms as them, but these three decks are like they're the foundation of the format. That's kind of what you have to play unless you have a very, very interesting and unique idea. I don't know how you felt in your games.
Yeah, I think it didn't change too much since the last time I played. So I feel like I don't know. Do you have a clear contender for the best deck in format is always so weird, but it's like, do you think one of these three is better than the rest, or is it clear? Is it not very clear? Because the 3-deck format should be like, as we spoken before, like in other TCGs, a 3-deck format would be decent. Like would be like
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I think one of the things that makes it feel different to other 3-deck formats is that like there's no clear rock paper scissors sort of cycle to them. And this is why my answer to the question, what do I see as the best deck in format? I maintain that it's Blurple. I still say that. That's kind of what I've said throughout. And I'm sticking with that. I think it has the highest floor. Basically, it's like it's wildly consistent. And one of the other reasons why I think it's the best is that because it's the one that I see breaking the rock paper scissors cycle. Supposedly, your ramp decks get out aggroed, but when the best aggro deck in the format is Amber Steel, super fast, and has all these like really tricky lines with Tiana and stuff that can make it just impossible to interact with. Blurple also has like the best answers to that in the form of Into the Unknown. You can just get to this point if you just curve out where you just go like ramp, play a genie. You can sing it Into the Unknown, hit something with your Rafiki that you played on turn one, then just Elsa, Bell, Hades. So you can realistically beat these aggro decks like with reasonably consistently. Like not all the time, you will get run over sometimes, but I think the matchup they have into like something that historically has been a bad matchup is actually a lot better than it looks. And yeah, that's why it's my contender. It can be anything, but you got to be ready for some grueling mirrors, and not just grueling, but like heartbreaking. It's all just turn of the card top deck wars where you have to play really sharp, and then even if you play really sharp, you can get absolutely blown out by your opponent drawing specific cards that excel in the mirror and you seeing none of them. I find it a very unfulfilling experience, so I opt out. But many people opt in and enjoy that sort of thing, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's weird to say. I the only concern I always have is like is if the play draw disparity goes worse, and that it's like it's always the question: is it getting worse or not? I don't know. It's sometimes hard to analyze if it gets. I mean, if it stays like it was, then it's maybe okay, but it was problematic also. But if it gets worse, then we need um Blurple mirrors, I actually don't mind them. Actually, to be honest, I find it like if you survive, if the first 5 6 turns are over and none of both players has an absolutely nuts draw, then it gets grindy, and then you can outplay opponent. I think that then it gets like skill expression gets in there, I think, and that is like feels like red purple mirrors in the past a bit. I feel
Yeah, true.
but of course, yeah, there is these key cards that are like these Hades wars and stuff that is sometimes feels like really absurd and nonsense. But yeah, the card economy and stuff. I think you can. Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's like it's probably always be a bit like luck, of course, and I think it's not the worst experience for me. What I find more problematic is like this. I don't want to say problematic because it always sounds like I'm dooming or something. But you really experience in my testing, you really experience the card quality that goes down for every deck, and then you have these key cards that are so much more powerful than the other cards in your deck.
Sure,
Then
yeah.
you if you draw them, like strength, for example, that's such a stupid card right now because it's like so game winning if you draw it in the opening hand, and if it's not, then your deck does sometimes really nothing, especially against decks like Blurple. And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then it depends on did you draw a strength in your opening hand or not, and that's always something I would like to avoid. That I'm dependent on drawing such specific cards. But yeah, I agree with you. Then I think in the meanwhile, I would also say Blurple is the best of the three decks because in the beginning I tested it with Ember Steel against it, and I was kind of consistently beating it, and somehow now I'm playing Blurple. Or I tested Blurtle yesterday and today a bit, and I didn't have that much trouble with Ember Steel. Maybe they don't play it perfectly, and but I think the matchup is not too bad. It's probably like even or something. But if it's aggro, like you say, if it's aggro how you beat it, then an even matchup against the best aggro deck is probably pretty good. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it also feels
Yeah,
like sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think it's one of those decks that your closest parallel is probably early sets red purple,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is that it
Reminds me a lot
does
of
feel
it.
possible to win every matchup. You do just have a pile of value card draw type things plus an incredible suite of removal. Yeah, that's the closest parallel for me, and it feels very similar, right? Which is like week to week, sometimes you would think there was a deck better than red purple, but if you were a decent player with strong fundamentals, there's literally no reason to pick anything else. Um, it's just hyper consistent. You can find ways to win absolutely any game. You don't have any extremely polarized matchups where you sort of think, okay, I am dead in the water after the dice roll.
It has this failure mode, of course, with the ramp missing. Like every 10th
Yep,
game or so, it happens, and
yep.
then you should consider that into your calculations of your win rate. But of course, yeah, like you say, other than that, this deck is super consistent. And Amethyst in general is like, I think Amethyst is so strong. That's the
Hmm.
only color really with card draw. I mean, Doc you can say is also card draw, but it's like, yeah, Doc piles are also, but only Doc is also weird. You must have like then a hyper aggro shell. You can't play
Yeah,
Doc
exactly.
it's not like a really consistent card a draw engine or something. The only deck that has draw engines is Amethyst right now, or maybe
Hmm.
Clarabelle if you consider it as draw engine. But
Mm.
yeah, um, and that's weird. That's weird. Only it feels like you have to play Amethyst right now. It's so that's
Yeah,
for
it
me.
does.
But of course,
Yeah, I
Ember
mean,
still exists, and it's kind of um, um, successful. So yeah, hard to say.
yeah, I mean, it's like amethyst cards and dock are how you draw cards at the moment.
Yeah.
There is also Clarabelle because blue green exists, and that's a bit of a funky out there one. But for the most part, you either draw cards through amethyst cards or through dock. And if your deck doesn't involve amethyst or steel, it's a bit of a problem. A lot of those decks, as we kind of looked at in the tier list video last time, they really struggle just because of that. They run out of gas so easily, or they become very dependent on key parts that are kind of disruptible. Like it's less of an issue in blue green where you ramped your Clarabelle, but if you create something like green red, for example, where you're looking to shift a Clarabelle to refill on cards early, and then someone takes out your baby Clarabelle,
Mm.
your game can end right there.
Mm.
You have to ink the Clarabelle to continue, and you just sort of the wheels fall off, and the game starts to fall apart. Yeah, the other factor for me that puts Blurple really high is just that, um, we talked about the fact that most of these good catch-up cards are just out of the game, and Blurple to me has access to it makes the best use of the very best catch-up cards in the game, which are Tipo and Sail. If you happen to lose the dice roll, um, you can play a one drop to like a Rafiki to contest the board early. So normally being on the draw and ramping, like being on the draw and ramping on turn 2 used to be a massive drawback because the decks were all slanted that much higher. They played far fewer one drops, that sort of thing. So you really did give up the board early. Like being on the draw against a turn 1 Merfolk, for example, was often like, well, the game could pretty much end there a lot of the time. But now that they've kind of got these balanced builds where they contest the board early with Rafiki and Basil, or with the Octopus Guard, you can essentially just like make sure you maintain some control of the board so your opponent doesn't run away with the game instantly, ramp up on turn 2 to get back ahead of them, and then just play like you were on the play the whole time. um, you start to play ahead of them in ink, and it just makes a massive like Tipo and Cell just make all the difference. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah, also like Hades and Into the Unknown are also crazy catch-up cards. I think that's the other part. It fits very good together in the deck. And no matter what will like what will come throughout this format, it will never be a bad deck. Probably the Blurple. It's. I think there can be nothing probably that will delete it or something. It will have a game
No,
against every deck.
that's it.
I think.
Shall we have a look at shall we
Yeah,
have a look at the build you've been playing, and then maybe we can just sort of talk generally about some of the card choices and different angles that people are taking for
yeah.
I
I
I
just
think the build you've got is a good spread. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just looked at this is a example list for viewers. Like it's not very special. I just looked at some lists and built something together. Then I changed some cards that I don't like and which I liked. And yeah, I think I'm really happy with this list right now. I'm not so sure about the second star to the right, to be honest. Like, it's a very greedy card. It can win games, but
Mm.
it's like it can also lose games very often. So it's like I'm not so sure. I would still like Finders Keepers very much, honestly. If you use that card correctly, I really like TikTok. I think that's a great card.
Hmm.
My Elephant is great. I would like to play four, honestly. This Elephant. And God, I was so underestimating Dumbo. It's crazy, this card.
Mm.
I mean, I would play it in every amethyst deck right now. It's just it wins you so sometimes the game, and it's inkable. It's too good to not play. But this is a perfect example of a card. Like if we had a different format, this card would be completely unplayable. But but just the fact that we don't have similar cards that can generate so much card advantage makes this card so crazy. Even sometimes when I saw the purple steel, when we come to the purple steel list later, where his opponent had 2 turns, no answer against the Dumbo, and then he drew 3 or 4 cards and did go wide, and that's just the cost of adding an inkable 4-drop in your deck. I think that's the ceiling is absurd for me. Yeah, and the rest
Yeah.
I think it's all like standard. You have to play for Genie, for Belle, for Elsa, for Hades. I'm always on the border between 2 or 3 big Elsas because I like them very much. Um,
Mm.
yeah, Visions I would like to play for, but yeah, I think it's a all rounder list. Um,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, there's nothing special
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some variation. Some people opting for like develop your brain
Mm-hmm.
over vision. I guess that's a personal preference thing. Like obviously develop is easier to weave into these extra ink that you might have after sailing or something like that to ensure a more consistent curve out. But yeah, when it gets late, vision is wild, so it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
preference. Um, Yeah, it's pretty close to like all the builds I've seen. They are all shaking out to be close to this, somewhere
Yeah,
close to 8 1 drops. Um, and yeah, like I say, you can really contest the board early with your 1 drops, which increase your consistency for being able to elephant, which can just smash some steel decks. Um,
absolutely crushes them. Sometimes it freezes the whole board for like 3 or 4 turns, and then you slam your Hades and stuff, and then it's like over most of the time because they can't
yeah,
quest. They can't
completely.
quest the whole time, and it's so crazy. The only card I'm
Yeah.
not really sure is Yago. That's so weird. That's
Mhm.
such a weird card because it's like sometimes it wins you the game, and then sometimes it's you are just afraid to play it all the time because like if they have this action, then it's so bad. So that's a weird
Mhm.
card. Maybe I could also test. I sometimes like the Four-Cost Scrooge deck deck, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, that's uninkable. That really hurts sometimes if it's uninkable. But yeah, yeah, that's the only consideration for me right now.
Mm. Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's really springy. You never really feel good just running it out on your 4 ink turn, do you? Because if that gets tagged then and just
yeah,
immediately
yeah,
dies, like that can feel like a lost game. Even though Blurple is exceptionally good at recovering from situations that look like where it should lose. But the elephant thing is one of the big challenges for me at the moment in trying to find good ways to beat this.
yeah,
Because, like you say, if you try to do anything aggressive, the elephant will just freeze the board, and you can't have a frozen board against Blurple because
yeah,
even if they just like freeze things up for a couple of turns, that is all the space they need to comfortably get to the point where they're just going to bury you in card
yeah,
advantage and
yeah.
removal. Um, you the board gets frozen like
It's also
metaphorically
it's
by elephant, and then they start playing big Elsas, and the board gets frozen literally, and then you completely lose the game.
and it's also so good for hand economy also because like you just bounce back your tipo or something, and then you have
Mhm.
ink again, and yeah, it's great. It's a great card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
When you play
it
the
does
deck,
feel like the bit.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
When you play the deck, I feel like why should I play something else? That's what I often feel
Yeah,
when I play the
exactly.
deck. Yeah, that's what I often feel like, and it's probably a bit true. And yeah, and often if it feels like that, there's some truth about it. Probably
Mm,
sometimes I think
yeah,
some yeah
yeah. Well, coming at it from the other side, like throwing everything at the wall to try and beat this deck. Um, like I consistently have felt like why am I not playing it? I
mm,
know why. Like it's a rhetorical question. I know the actual answer. It's because I don't want to get locked into these mirrors. I
hmm
don't like trying to perfect execution with a proven best deck in the format. I would rather seek answers, but yeah, constantly feeling like, what am I doing? Like, why am I trying to beat this? It has
that's so
so many
cool.
of the best cards in the format.
That's so cool that
Like,
we are
why
so
am I trying to
different
do
because like that's everything I want is have mirrors all day. That's everything I want, and
Really?
yeah, that's everything I want. Give me only mirrors the whole day. Like I don't want to say I beat everyone or I crush everyone. That's not what I want to say. Like it's I can lose too. That I don't want to say, oh yes, I'm the best. I will beat every mirror. But at least that's something I would take if I would go to a tournament and say you have
Mm,
8 mirrors today. At least in a mirror like this, not in a green steel mirror or something from the past. In a mirror like this, where I say, okay, we have both a game, we play the game, and then I would be happy like that. So not that I get Tiana and stuff, and I don't know. It's like I would be happy with that. But that's really cool
yeah.
because every TCG needs both parts of them, or how can I say, both sides of the medal, like the
Yep.
you once you described it like um executor, or what did you say, executor and innovator,
Oh,
right?
yeah, they're innovators and executors. Yeah. Are you someone who
I
wants to do something different and find answers in building, or are you someone who wants to take something proven and looks like it's the best and pilot it to the highest possible standard?
no, no, it's I would say in general I would say I'm a executor, but then we like build the green purple deck, so a bit of innovator is probably in me too. But it's like
Yeah,
yeah, I would
we
say
did
I'm
we did
happy to be an
conclude
executor.
before.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
this, when we did conclude before when we were talking about it that like the very best players tend to have elements of both.
yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
makes them an extremely good player, and they aren't one or the other. But for me, one of my like I do just like to try and find these like more deck building based wins, and just like
Makes total
I think
sense. Makes total sense.
the game the game is so hyper consistent. Um, with the mulligan rule. The mulligan rule in Lorcana smooths play patterns to such an extent that players don't need much practice to start like perfecting lines with these decks. You can get a feel for these lines very quickly, start to work out what works, and Blurple's a perfect example. A lot of these early turn runouts, your sort of turns 1 through 5, um, even 6 a lot of the time as well, can look functionally identical, um, regardless of what you're playing against, with some slight variations sometimes. And players become extremely proficient, extremely fast at executing those lines. There's obviously still room for skill gapping and everything like that. You can become even better than your competition. But for me, the number one thing I have to do is like mess up my opponent's thinking. I want them to not have a robotically programmed executable line in their head for my opponent is playing this deck. I will now play these cards in this order because I read in a Metafy guide that this is what you do, and then I do it, and then I win because that is what you do, and I can do it every game because it's so consistent. I have to find some way of disrupting that. I have to
I
force
think
them to think.
it's not
Force
that
them to think
simple. It's not that simple. I
no,
would
it's
say.
not that. No, I'm not saying it's that simple, but you everyone can practice, right? And everyone can work out what their optimal lines are versus different matchups. And it's only through doing something different that you can disrupt that, is my point. I
That
want to
makes total sense. That makes total sense. Yeah.
what I do against this card my opponent just played. I want them to not know. I want them to have not done this 20 times and have worked out exactly what to do. Because I want to take them off the autopilot is it sounds wrong because it's kind of I'm suggesting they're not thinking. They're definitely thinking, but it's like I want to make them make difficult decisions live rather than being able to work out everything before they turned up to the tournament. There needs to be like an unknown factor that forces them to try and like I want to challenge their fundamentals. Like show me how much you fundamentally understand this game by playing around this Emerald
Mm,
Chromicon, for example.
yeah.
Like
It's
show me that you can think differently about like when posed with a different challenge that you hadn't anticipated. That's what I want. That's
mm-hmm,
what I'm
mm-hmm.
trying to engineer a lot of the time. And sometimes it falls flat, but sometimes like yeah, that's where you make your opponent make mistakes and where you find wins. That's like my motivation a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's still like a bit of the problem. That it's still like not a very diverse meta in the sense of like how different the decks play. It feels like if I would write a guide right now, like if I would write a Blurple guide, I don't know. Wouldn't have a section where I have different matchups. I would say like it's I don't know. I play one drop and then I play ramp and then I play
Yeah,
genie and
exactly.
then yeah, that was really different in the past where you had these against these B prep decks. You had to play more conservatively and so that's a bit sad right now that you don't have like these different strategies against different decks. At least it doesn't feel like against Ember Steel a bit like you need to have your anti-aggro tools and stuff, but the games feel really really similar in a lot of
Hmm.
this mid-range sludge fest style swingy cards win the uh, game right now, like all these one good Hades, one good Into the Unknown, one good Strength is most of the time the winning deciding point
Hmm.
in the game, and then yeah, it's a bit sad, but that's just because of B prep doesn't exist. I think, and I could imagine B prep will come back. That's my feeling right now, or at least something similar in set 10 or set 11 or something.
Yeah,
I would
I
be
think.
happy, honestly. Also, our dear red friends, like they had a really hard time. All Ruby players, they look at their card pool and think, do I have one good card except Shark? Maybe give me one good card.
Yeah,
It's so stupid. They have nothing. That They got everything taken. It's absolutely
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
So
If you look at what Ruby lost and then look at what like Amethyst and Sapphire retained, like
yeah,
I don't know, like the decision to. I don't think the decision to make Hades the reprinted Sapphire Legendary could have been given. Like, I don't think anyone could have really thought too long and hard about what Blurple looks like when they made that choice.
yeah. It's always like
It bec-
sad. Yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes when they plan this, and then Blurple is a meme deck probably when they planned this, and then
Yep.
it came out like this, and yeah,
I mean, we saw it coming for a long time, though, right? Like we were
yeah,
saying for weeks, like, right, Blurple's now not a joke. This is like months ago even. Blurple's now not a joke. It's a real deck. If and
yeah. But
because it's suddenly become a real deck instead of a meme, it might get tons of support in the next sets because because when they were being developed, it needed the support, and then it's kind of like accidentally become amazing. Now everything, it's not that it was given anything crazy aside from Dumbo. It obviously benefits from that, but every purple deck does, like you say. It's just that the whole world crumbled around it. Meanwhile, it lost nothing, right? Which is, if you only became a good deck after like set 6, you're not too worried about losing too many cards from sets 1 through 4
yeah, that's
because
true. Yeah, yeah,
because
makes
all the good
total
stuff
sense.
came
Yeah,
after. So yeah, you really, and then like the bits that did look key, like Bell and Hades, they just got reprinted.
yeah,
So, well, enjoy, like have your Blurple format and enjoy. Um, yeah, it's I think it's kind of an element of the, I guess, I don't know. I'm not really like dooming, but an element of why I don't feel so great about it is that the whole thing was just like so predictable to me. Was that from our
yeah.
first discussion about
Yeah,
spoilers?
predictable since set 8 maybe, but they planned the set before probably set 5, 6 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
So we can't make them.
yeah. No,
We can't make them. How can I say, like, responsible? Yeah, we can always make them
no,
responsible
no.
for that, but it's like not. I wouldn't call them guilty for that.
No,
It's
no, no.
yeah,
It's not that I feel like they missed anything because we understand that there's like a lag and lead time with the delivery and development of these TCG sets. Like this happens, right? Like sometimes you work 4 or 5 sets in advance, things like this happen, and you can't foresee them, and that's totally fine. I get it. I'm not like down on Ravensburger or anything. But I mean, from our point of view of like the first discussion at the start of spoiler season was
hmm
like, right, if you look at the card pool now before anything is revealed at all, it looks like Blurple will be on paper the best. Then the reprints started to run in, and we were thinking, right, Blurple looks solid still. It looks like it's really like the front runner. Let's see what the other decks get. Right, they got way less than Blurple. Okay, theoretically, based on this card pool, it looks like Blurple's crazy, and then Blurple's crazy. So it's just been that at every stage I'm just so unsurprised by how this format has played out versus like you just been able to watch it unfold in real time exactly how you expected it to, and that's like the disappointing bit for me is I
Ah,
always want someone to like subvert things a bit and just show me make a cool deck that I didn't see come in tier 1 because this whole format like double amethyst deck, amber steel, all these things were just like expected to be good and then they were good, and that's where the boredom comes in for me.
yeah. I think I underestimated just the fact that it's. I thought it's way worse into Acro than it actually is without Bell. I thought without Bell they are really bad against Acro. But then the Acro decks that exist now don't have the quality of Acro decks before the bans, before the rotation. So actually, they can't go wide that easily than in the past, where you had access to more card draw and more stuff where you can consistently go wide. But now it's dependent on your. I mean, if you're on the play and you have a dock in your opening hand, you probably win against Blurple. But it's like, yeah, it's not that consistent to go wide, and they are a very consistent deck. So you're sometimes that lowers the win rate against them because you are dependent on some cards and they are not that dependent on some cards. I mean, you are dependent on a strength probably. They can play a turn 3. They have like 12 cards they can play in turn 3. So it's like, yeah, that will affect the win rate against them for sure. And
Definitely.
yeah, it's just not that. It's just that the Echo decks have not the quality than before. And if the best card Acro deck, the best card in the Acro deck is like Diana, and they have the best answer against Diana, then it's like unfortunate for a metagame.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, with that said, we've seen other decks winning tournaments this weekend,
Yeah.
which is
It called very.
exciting.
It sounded very. It sounds very doomy probably, but I don't. I actually don't want to do them. I actually don't mind it too much.
No, I
Um.
agree. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's
So
just I was trying to transition us into looking at a different deck.
yeah, exactly. We had actually two big tournaments in the
Mm,
weekend, if I got that correctly, and both of these tournaments weren't won by Blurple actually. So
mhm.
they were won by different decks. One is these Purple Steelers from Thiago,
Yep.
and I tested a list similar like this. And this list in particular I really like. I think there's everything in there that I would like to have in there.
Mhm.
Dumbo, I think it's also good enough in Purple Steel. It's like, I don't know, it's so crazy good. I like Jafar over Lilo because Lilo is. I don't know how you feel about Lilo. Lilo is a trap, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
It's
Lilo
not good.
sucks. It's just yeah. There are no the like perceived benefit of Lilo like going wide and enabling a ton of trade ups. The boards just don't present themselves for it.
No,
Like
no.
people just they quest with evasives or nothing,
Yeah.
and that's basically it.
And yeah, exactly. But they have a board also, like the half board is evasive, so you can't challenge the evasive, so you can't make use of that. So one plus two challenger is most of the time enough.
Yep,
And then the Jaffa quest for two, which is much
yep,
more
fantastic.
relevant. And in my testing, I don't know how is it for you, but the second effect of Lilo, no matter how many aliens I played, I never used it once till now.
I think exactly one time I've had it
Okay.
happen. You
Um,
steal. I was like, I get something with a pleatly. Like,
Yeah,
okay, it happened
okay.
one
That
time.
there in this deck, it's maybe more, but it's nothing for you to consider to play it because of that in your deck. I think.
Agree.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you say about? I know you don't. You are not that much of a Dumbo believer, or you don't like the card. Um, what also like
I
was very sorry. Yeah.
no, finish off and then I'll give you my thoughts on
Yeah,
Dumbo.
what I also really surprised me was the Madame Mim, the two cost
Mm,
Madame Mim. The card is
yeah,
really good. I was very
yes, it
surprised
is.
by that. And yeah, people get caught off guard by this card still. I think even in a tournament, if you play this, you will get people with her, and one good trade with her
Definitely.
will probably be enough. And then still, even if not, if not you're not use it right now, the board math gets weird for your opponent, and then suddenly your hooks can trade the three cost genies, and they can't quest anymore with it and stuff. So it's like really awkward for them often. So I really like that. Oh, and the two cost alternatives are not that great, so I think it makes sense to play the Madame Mim there. Yeah, maybe 4 white draws is necessary right now, and you just need that. Also, the substitutions for that are not that great. In the beginning, I was a big fan of this 3-cost Tinkerbell, but the Shift Tinkerbell is a reason to play that, and the Shift Tinkerbell does nothing right now in the meta, I would say. So it's like does nothing against Blurple, so it's like not a big reason. So I get that while they play White Rose over the Tinkerbell. Yeah, the Jasmine I would need to test it. I think the card is strong. I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
decent. Yeah, it's good on board. Checks a lot of stuff.
yeah, I think also it's another way to discard multiple dogs and maybe make use of that.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you say about the list?
I like it. Like you say, I wasn't particularly high on Dumbo and Purple Steel. I was trying to find more like go wide. Yeah, trying to go wide with it a lot more regularly. Just lots of things that draw a card on play. Dumbo for me was a lot of the time just like throwing away tempo advantages that I had by like incentivizing me to turn all my stuff sideways for cards and like enable my opponent to blow me out a lot of the time. In practice, like you don't need to care about that. Like you just if you have one in play, you don't even need to activate it. Like it's fine, a 3/3 evasive. And sometimes when you're ahead on board, and like it just wins the game. It just wins the game so often. I like for the record like hate cards like Dumbo. I hate that there is a mandatory 4 of in multiple decks legendary from a low EV set. I hate that people are paying like $60-$70
Yeah,
per
that's
copy for
bad
this
for
and
sure.
feel that they have to pay like close to 300 in their local currency for a set of this card that
Yeah.
it raises the barrier to entry so much. I don't know how it could be avoided in terms of set design when you've got like a reprint heavy set, because obviously all the reprinted stuff just tanks in value. So all like half the legendaries are worthless. And then there are new legendaries as well, which are also not amazing aside from Dumbo. Um, and just creates this like value breakdown of a box of Fabled where it kind of all hangs off of a Dumbo and the Enchanteds and Epics.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would love.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think like, but they kind of got there to make us be more excited about to opening a pack, because like opening
Completely.
packs in Fable is really cool, because like you have a lot
It
of
is.
stuff you can be excited about, and we also complained in the past like we don't have these legendaries are not very good, and why are the legendaries not good, and we have no value in Dumbos nowadays.
Yeah.
But that's a exaggerating example of that, because that is I think we never had something like this. I look at it right now, it's $70 for one
Hmm.
Dumbo. Is it? That's absurd. We never
Yeah.
had something like this in
Yeah, it's
Lorcana
not
either,
it's
I think. Do we did we have something
no, I
like that?
mean
No, I think.
Tamatoa's got
Yeah,
like during that 7 panic, Tamatoa's got very high, didn't they?
yeah.
And close to that. Um, no, do you know the like the meme format where it says like inside you there are two wolves and it's two different wolves facing
Yeah,
each other,
yeah,
and it's like that's how I feel about this. Is like about the like the Dumbo situation and the EV distribution is inside me there are two wolves.
yeah. Uh-huh.
One of them is concerned with the accessibility of the game and how cheap it is to buy a tier 1 deck and wants the game to be inclusive. The other wolf is a gambling addict and is like, this is the best thing ever because I actually have like there's a big thrill to opening boosters. And yeah, I have to like give credit where credit's due on that front, because I've complained in the past about like, you know, loving the game, and yet I found the pack opening experience incredibly boring because it was like a 1 in 100 chance of hitting an enchanted, or I just didn't care. and most of the enchanteds were also bad. It's so much better in Fabled. The distribution is so much better. The pack opening experience is amazing. So much more fun than I've had in the past. And yeah, really love that. No complaints there. Love the new rarities. Love the chase. It's great. But yeah, currently you've got a few issues at play as well, which is the supply seems a bit constrained. So people that are rushing to like build these decks, and you had two massive events this weekend across the US, hundreds of players at each one. All of the a massive majority of the players needed 4 Dumbos for either Purple Steel or Blurple. And they're kind of falling over each other to try and get them. So of course the price is wildly inflated right now. I'm sure it will come down a bit. Hopefully those supply issues will be relieved, and we'll get what we need. But yeah, that's just a massive tangent. I started off thinking that the card wasn't that great in Purple Steel. I've now come around to thinking it is very, very good. Like you say, swingy cards win games, and when you're ahead, Dumbo will absolutely win you games. There's a reason it costs what it does. It's wildly swingy.
I think it's crazy that you also get the lore. That's really, really crazy for me, because it's like you don't even lose the race by it, because like you don't have to decide if you like, because you still get the lore. You lose one lore if you make it with the genie or something, but with the other cards you still get the lore. That's insane for me. Like yeah, it's but that's a card, for example, Dumbo is a card like I could really imagine in 1 or 2 sets the card is completely unplayable because it's too slow, or there are other cards like this, and then you can drop cards better than with such a stupid card that does nothing when it comes into play. And I can really imagine that it card. Genie is probably an evergreen, like, but it's in Dumbo is because Genie is just overstated in every regard, I would say. So it's very hard to make that card unplayable. But Dumbo is weird. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Like the conditions that we have right now, like uniquely make Dumbo very, very good. Those conditions could easily go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and then we have another list. Or do you want to, or would you want to add something to the Purple Steel?
No, I think there's the big story with Purple Steel is that there were go wide cantrip heavy builds, and some people played Dumbo, some people played like Mim Skater, and they have kind of converged on these Dumbo type lists, and I think the build is very, very good. I think Purple Steel is, it's not going to go away. It's a real threat. It does threaten Blurple in some interesting ways, but Blurple can also easily beat it. Yeah, you've got a lot going on with the deck that there's a lot to like here. You can just draw tons of cards, which is very, very viable plan in this format, while continuing to just like keep a reasonably wide board. Yeah, I like it. It's still one of my favorite decks in the format.
Yeah,
Singing of Strength can win games. Lots of individually powerful cards here that just can just run away with games. So yeah, there's a lot to like.
Yeah, it's from the it's like Blurple a bit, but it's better even against Aggros, even better against Aggro. That makes it like appealing to me. Like so it's like against Blurple, it's like, I don't want to say 50-50, but it's like, nah, Blurple is favored, I would say, but you have like these aggro matchups which you beat even more consistently than Blurple, so that's the appealing part for Purple Steel for me. And I think Thiago managed to beat some Blurples in his run, I think. So
yeah, I'd imagine so. If you want
yeah, I think in the semifinal, I think I watched it. He beat Humble on Blurple, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And that was impressive because he was in a draw, and then yeah, he was. Dumbo was absolutely crazy in this game, and then he did go wide, and yeah, great player. I think I watched his semifinal and his final. I think that was very impressive, and good job, and congratulations. It was a big tournament.
Yeah, totally.
And then we have another more than 100 player tournament that was actually
Mhm.
won by a lonely Amber Steel. I think it was like 6 Blurples and 2 Amber Steels or something in top 8. And the Amber Steel is a really cool adaptation. Something I really get what this deck tries to do. Like he has like this 8 bodyguards, which are really annoying.
Yep.
Like even like I got some curves like Nala turn 2, then turn 3, Lady into this 0/5 bodyguard. Prince, good luck.
Yep.
Recovering from that. Good luck. And then Aurora into Tiana can be sometimes really, really oppressive. Although I don't know if that's the way to go for the deck, because it's like then this Aurora is exerted, your opponent can probably trade it up, and then you have a lonely Tiana on board, which is not doing that much. That's early, but yeah. But if the Aurora survives, you can like turn 2 Tiana, turn 3 Snow White or something. So it's like that you can do crazy stuff then if this Aurora survives once. So probably that's just a high roll potential. I'm surprised that only 2 daisies here. That is
Yeah, that's
surprising to
interesting,
me.
isn't it? I guess there's like with more princesses, you have Mulan, you have Snow Whites as well. Maybe this version really wants that Aurora on turn 1 more
Mm-hmm.
so than a Daisy. I can, playing Daisy on the draw is like often not fantastic in some matchups. I can kind of see shaving some copies, but I think just like it's so singularly powerful that I'm shocked to not see 4 in any aggro
Yeah.
deck.
What I also like is this bolt, because he plays so many
Yeah,
bodyguards. That can also be like very early be over the game. Like if you play on 2 and
yep,
bodyguard and then on 3 this bolt, and then it quests for 4. 4 is so much. Oh my god.
yep.
And I think the bodyguards really make the difference here in this list, and uh, will lead to some really problematic situations for your opponent. The only thing
Mhm.
what I think in this list here when I watched it is like when I looked at it is like you really don't want to be on a draw in an aggro mirror. That's what you really
No.
don't want to do, because like the highest strength in your whole deck is like 2 or something, and you
Yeah,
can't
2 copies of John Silver. There's 2 free strength cards. Exactly 2. Yeah.
Oh, and 2 Pete's
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the fire the cannons and stuff, but it's you really don't want to be on a draw against an Akro mirror. That's what you that I think you just accept that you. But
Yep.
maybe with this bolt and stuff, maybe you can outrace them even on the draw. But I would be really surprised if that's possible. Um, Maybe with the fire the cannons and bolt and but it's like very hard, I think. But that's fair. I think if you say like against Acro, I need to be on the play, and Blurple, if you beat Blurple and Purple Steel with this, then I would accept a
Yeah,
bad
sure.
Acro on
Yeah,
the
it's
draw
like
matchup.
bad on the draw. Yeah.
Yeah,
One matchup with lost dice roll being
yeah,
bad is fine. You can
yeah,
take that.
yeah. So I really like that list. I think that's a good way to adapt the Ember Steel. I think the bodyguards make really the difference here. I don't know, what do you think about the list?
Yeah, I mean, there are some cards that I'm like obviously very surprised to see, like Snow White. I can understand how Snow White would be incredible. I could also understand situations where it would fall really flat. Obviously, it's worked out for this player, and that's great.
I'm
Bolt
not
is
that
something.
I would like to ask you about, because like I don't see many cards that really punishing her outside of Bell, maybe sometimes. Fire the cannons is not very popular, so I wouldn't So I think the card she can't be Elsa. She can't. I think. I honestly thought it's a clever.
I
Um,
totally agree. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to include at all. Like it's a really cool innovation that it's one of those things that in practice is probably way better than it looks on paper for the reasons you've just said. I mean, I think I just envisioned it getting strength,
yeah,
delve,
okay, strength, yeah,
maybe.
but every four drop gets probably strength. But yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
true.
yeah.
And that's what you're doing here is that Tiana creates this pressure where it's like a must answer 3 drop. Tiana demands your premium removal, whether it's into the unknown, whether it's strength, because obviously with her in play you can't take your trades. If she eats that, then the Snow White is so much better, right? Like it just lives and they don't have any answer. So between Bolt, Tiana, and Snow White, you have 3 cards in the same deck that all demand the exact same answers. Your opponent just can't answer all of them. You can follow one up, and then if they have their premium removal, you play your next one. Yeah, Bolt in particular, I think, is really interesting, and I got absolutely crushed this weekend against an Amber Steel player playing Bolt, who like I couldn't answer it the turn it was played, so obviously big problem. That's a huge issue. Then quested for 4 and then readied it with a Sven, and then I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
okay,
like
that's
that,
crazy. Yeah, that's I
yeah,
quest for another
that
6 then next turn.
yeah, then you
Uh,
quest for 6, yeah,
uh um,
yeah,
that's maybe
really,
here, but that's maybe the only deck here where I could really see maybe Lilo to help on the draw against it, because like you have all the 0/5s and
yeah,
0/4s where you could maybe catch up on the draw against some decks, but maybe you just go all in on this hyper aggro plan and then don't care about aggro on the draw. I'm also
yeah,
very surprised about this. I won't give in. I would say I'm
mm,
doubt. I would if I see that I'm doubtful, but he won, so probably got some uses about that out of that. I don't
yeah. I
know.
mean,
It's maybe there to recure your dog or something, but
yeah,
how?
that's the primary thing people try to do
Yeah,
with
but
it.
how
Yeah,
many dogs do you have in your discard when you play
exactly.
this? And um, like I would say, even if I have a dog in my discard, probably the game is over, because like the first
Exactly.
dog wins me the game, or I will lose the game most of the time. So um,
Yeah,
yeah,
so a lot of the time you want exactly one dock, and then that's the
yeah,
problem I've had when I play this. I won't give in as well, which is like, right, you have to play the dock, then the I won't give in has to come after the dock because obviously you discarded whatever was left in your hand to
hmm
the dock. It must come after, and the dock also has to be in the bin. So they then have to have traded it off. Like by the time this comes online, it's typically like the game is over one way or the other. So yeah, it's not something I've had success with. It's like I think looks very strong on paper because whoever gets off the most docks tends to win most games. Um, but I've struggled for it to come together. But obviously, something worked. If something worked on the day for the player to have won the tournament, which is fantastic for them. But yeah, I've struggled with the consistency of it a bit. But I think there are
hmm
some very very good choices in this deck, and it's yeah really nice to see someone taking a different approach to Amber Steel and yeah pushing the envelope a bit.
I'm also thinking then Nala is great. I don't know. Many people were doubtful in the beginning about her, but I think that's the way you beat these decks. I think these purple decks and stuff. I think I don't know. I
Yeah,
found her
cards
too
incredible.
strong. Sorry.
The card's just crazy. The
Yeah, yeah.
card's like crazy, really, really good.
Especially with these bodyguards in this deck, I could imagine there are some
Yep.
games that are over incredibly fast. Um,
Yeah, it's our new Piglet, right?
yeah, it's
But
only
like,
Piglet,
yeah, but unconditional,
and with
and
three strength willpower, you can
yeah,
say. Yeah,
lives through fire the cannons,
actually
lives through
absurd.
a single fails hit. Yeah, it's actually a very, very, very good card.
Yeah, nice. Okay. I want to talk with you about our forgotten child a bit. I tried to make
Mm,
green purple work in every single way, but I have to, because I have a responsibility and I want to also my meta file and stuff, and but
yep.
I don't know. I don't find a shell where green purple can. I don't want to say you can't play it, but it's worse. Yeah, I don't want to play a worse deck than other decks. So like, I don't want to say you can't win a game with it, but it's like clearly worse for me than purple steel and blurple, and I don't find a
Yes.
way to make it similar powerful. So it's the same as red purple for me. Red purple is also something I tried. It's just red purple gets closer than green purple to these two, but it's also like
Mhm.
it has some good cards like this Goofy and Shark and stuff, but it's like also not on the same power level than the other two.
Yep.
And I don't know how you feel about green purple. Probably not good, right?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, which is that like it's so right now we have a very odd situation in that like, very few things are playable, but everything is kind of you can win with anything right
Yeah,
now.
on the play.
You can there is any you can take any color combination at all and build a deck that crushes on the play.
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
difference
true,
maker
yeah.
for all these the difference maker for all these decks is how effectively they play on the draw and what their on the draw plan is, how they might catch up. And that's the massive gap for green purple. I've seen like some lists come in from people that have played in smaller tournaments and have put up good runs with green purple, and then you kind of click into the tweet to see, looked at it and thought, oh, that's interesting. How are they seeing so much better results than I did? And then you expand their match record and you see that they won like 6 out of 7 dice
Mm-hmm.
rolls, and it's like, okay, well, now this makes perfect sense. Is if you spend the whole day playing on the play, if I knew I was going to do that, I wouldn't have any problems registering green purple.
Mm-hmm.
But it is such a dog on the draw,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like whereas blurple and purple steel both can play okay on the draw. You can
Mm-hmm.
actually do stuff. You can catch back up on board. You have some tools to catch up with your opponent. Um, that's the gap. So it's like it's missing very little, but in that very little, it's missing everything because the
Yeah.
whole differentiation of what makes a deck good at the moment is does it have a strong on the draw plan? Can it catch back up in the game? Can it retake tempo when the opponent is ahead on tempo? That is what all three of these main pillars of the format have in common: purple steel, blurple, amber steel. All of them are capable of starting from behind and pulling ahead in one way or the other. Um, I just don't see a route for green purple to do that. Um, so for
Yeah.
me, all of my experiments are like we just have to wait and see. We
Yeah,
basically have to
yeah.
wait for the deck to come back to we have to wait for the deck to come back to life next set. We
Yes.
need like if we had kit, it's a deck.
Yeah, I think even cards like Cricky or something,
Yeah,
with the best tool we have is like the Yelena, and that's
yeah,
so nonsense.
terrible. It's terrible.
That's I mean the card is okay, but it's like that's not a reliable catch
Yeah,
up
but
tool.
it's not a card that could be your best tool.
Yeah, not at all, not at all.
It's your best
Yeah,
tool, you've got serious problems, which the
yeah,
deck does. The deck has serious problems,
yeah. The deck
right now.
has serious problems. Yeah. So that's just
Uh,
for everyone, but we are not a one trick ponies. We can do other stuff. So like, yeah, but we wait for a time. I want green purple to come back, and we probably will. The best tool is still like Mother Knows Best, and I tried many stuff. And sometimes you get them with Mother Knows Best and some as a tempo play, but then you think like, okay, they had no strength and they had no Elsa, and then you had your Mother Knows Best, and then you win,
mhm,
because they had
yep,
nothing and you had the correct card in the right spot. So like, yeah, okay,
mhm,
and then this says nothing about the deck.
yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I want to make a personal announcement too, because I just want to shortly mention that I'm proud that I'm on a new team right now. I sadly left my team, my German team, which I was a bit sad because yeah, I got a very good offer to play in a very very high competitive team for the Rare Hunter shop in Vienna, and we are trying to make a really good season this year. We have like San, we have Erlmeister, we have Lukas Kauper, we have Janan, we have so many really, really high competitive players, and they asked me, and I couldn't say no. And my old team was fortunately very nice to let me go without harm, or without being mad or something. Yeah, I just want to shortly say that if you want to follow the team, I will make links in the description below. And yeah, I'm excited for what comes up. I'm personally, if you expect that, I'm not going to the first DLCs like in Bologna and in Milwaukee, but I try honestly to be in all other DLCs, no matter if it's like Europe or NA. And
Wow.
yeah, I'm very excited for that. And I really, really want to do it this year. And I'm actually happy that I don't have to play Bologna because I don't have to buy my Dumbos now. And
Yep.
that's very good for me because I would also not like to pay 60 euro for a Dumbo. That's so stupid. Um, and I'm actually excited to just chill and watch the people. That's sometimes also cool. Like I will sit at home, chill, and watch them fighting against each other, and just see what happens, what decks comes out, and the format in itself will not be too much for me, affect me too much. So I'm right. Yeah, chill at the moment. Yeah, but you will
Nice.
also go to all European DLCs, right? You.
I will at least go to all European DLCs.
Mhm.
I would love to get out to one in the States, especially if you're going now. It'd be nice to travel to one together.
Yeah. Let's
Over
see.
in NA, say hello to our friends and everything, which would be really fun. But yeah, for now, I think I'm locked into European, and similarly, I'm dreading Bologna at the moment. Like, I'm looking forward to like hanging out and talking to people, but I have no idea what I'll play.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea. I'm so
It's
completely lost in this
sometimes.
format.
Sometimes it's like we live in such a fast-paced world. Like maybe in 2 weeks the meta is completely different. Like I don't know. It's hard to
Really.
imagine, but like a week ago, like the second star to the right decks came, and then all the blurple tagged for the mirrors, and then maybe some other decks appear. Like for example, DKP. Like in the end of set 6 or something, he came up with this new blue red deck that he made, and let's see what. There will be probably some tournaments before that, but yeah, I have to admit these three decks will be probably, yeah, still there, and you have to be yeah, capable of beating them, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
or you will have a hard time at these tournaments, I would guess. What I
Yeah,
would like
definitely.
is um yeah, again, like I always wanted to be, that these tournaments will be like skill influenced, and then the dice roll is really a concern for me, that it doesn't is not that important, because we came back to, because I always want to remind the people, because like we come back to best of three, all people wanted best of three. Not on I'm still on the fence. I don't know, but we have to know that we now have to win dice rolls again. We didn't have to do that in the past, so
Mm-hmm.
that's a different story. You have to win your dice rolls, or you will have probably a hard day to reach day two. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Um, yes, and on that, just be very, very if you're like new to these tournaments of this scale, be very vigilant for how the dice roll is very, very important, basically. And please be vigilant and don't be afraid to call a judge if you expect any kind of foul play on how your opponent is attempting to determine that. I've heard horror stories of people essentially just like turning the dice in their hand and dropping them on the table, and it's sixes, and anything like that, the judges are there to help you and to make sure that that doesn't. In fact, I would go far and away to say that actually the easiest way to win a match of Lorcana is to catch your opponent cheating and get
oh yes,
DQ.
that's good. Yeah.
Then what you want is to win. There is no less thought-intensive way of winning than catching them barefaced cheating. I'm not saying angle shoot and try to prove your opponent cheat when they didn't, but cheats exist. Fortunately, there aren't too many of them in this game, which is fantastic. But yeah, just be vigilant of any sort of foul play for how your opponent wants to determine who goes first or second. Stick to dice roll the same dice. Yeah, and you know, like I say, the judges are there to help you and make sure that everything is determined fairly.
Yes, but I think we will do a preparation video for the DLCs probably soon.
Oh yeah,
so
completely.
yeah.
Yeah, I need it. If nobody else needs it, I do.
I think you don't need it. You just need to be more confident. That's what you need. That's everything you need. If you ask me,
you have to feel confident.
Sorry.
I said to be confident, you have to feel confident, and by now, I don't doubt my own ability to play. It's deck choice, it's deck selection that's got me.
Then I have
the
to
ropes
say
right now.
Then I have to say feel confident. You know.
Okay,
no, I can really relate. I know how can I say? I know how you feel. Like I know the despair. Not the despair. The the feeling of a game that it's like if you are a really good player, you have a 60% win rate and probably a 52% win rate on the draw or something. and so just mathematically that you can't prepare that good, that you will reach day 2 for sure. So it's like like a hopeless hopeless situation that you're in, and just you can't do more than being prepared. That's always what I told my drivers students from I'm driving teacher. You can't do more than prepare good. You can't do more, and if you feel nervous, you should always think like, what can I do? I just prepared good, and that's everything I could do. That's more I can't do. Yeah. I don't know why I'm saying this. Yeah.
No, it's helpful to me. I was just thinking that the driving test example is like particularly bad for me because I failed 5 times.
Yeah, but that's I don't want to say normal, but yeah, it's like it's not that crazy than you might think it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Then I think we got everything right.
Yeah, I think that's, just a sort of overview of where the metagame's at. That's the picture that we now have to try and navigate around, whether we lock into one of these 3, whether we get on one of the rising stars like green blue, or if we try and find something different altogether. This is helping me work my way towards a DLC deck, which is very helpful, and hopefully it's helpful for other people too.
Yeah, nice. And next week at least I will be more have more insights probably about the metagame than this week, and I'm excited to try all this stuff out and look more into the metagame. Nice. Okay, then thanks everyone for watching, and till next week, and bye.
Bye.